Geneva Linnington was born Geneva Park in 1917 in Mayville, North Dakota.
I was the oldest girl, and I had 3 sisters. And I had a wonderful mother and father. We didn't have much, but my dad had a job, which was something in those days. That was during World War I. My childhood home was a section house in Mayville, North Dakota, because my dad worked in the railroad. He was the section foreman for Great Northern Railroad in Mayville, North Dakota.
Geneva remembers harsh North Dakota winters and having to walk to school in deep snow.
We had a long way to walk, and believe me, winters were tough with a lot of snow, and we had overshoes. They were far cry from the snow boots you have now. Well, anyway, we walked to school, and we'd get cold, you know, and Dad would be waiting for us at the depot. It was about halfway, so we'd go in there and get warmed up and then battle on.
But not all of North Dakota winters were unbearable. Christmas time was a special time in the Park household.
Okay, when I was a kid, my dad would hire a sleigh and somebody to drive the big sleigh with 2 or 4 horses, I don't know, and take us up to the main street. And there they had a big Christmas tree, and Santa Claus came, and he gave each one of the kids a bag of candy. And then he would take us in the sleigh down to my aunt's house, my mother's sister. Now, she was married and had 1 girl. So we'd go down there and have Christmas. And we'd have lutefisk and meatballs.
Other highlights for Geneva growing up included her first kiss and her family getting a new car.
I remember the first time I went to a high school party, and this boy took me home. And I remember my first kiss, too. And I think he stood on the rail to be higher than me. Well, when I was growing up, we had a 4-door Ford. And I wanted to drive. My dad says, if anybody could drive this car, it's going to be me. So I didn't get a chance. But anyway, when my sisters grew up, their boyfriends taught them how to drive. I was about, 40, 50, maybe 55, before I learned to drive. I graduated from Mayville High School, Mayville, North Dakota. When I graduated from high school, my folks moved to Inkster, North Dakota. And that's when my 3 sisters graduated from high school.
After high school, Geneva started looking for a job, but work in North Dakota was scarce.
Well, I was babysitting for this couple that had these twins in Mayville. And they were going to go to Montana. He was a druggist. They asked me if I wanted to go along, help take care of the babies, a boy and a girl. And then I got wife registered with the guy that was at the head of the waitress union. And he called me on a Saturday night, they needed a dishwasher at the Midway. So yes, I would. So I went down there with a dishwasher, and after the place closed, I got on my hands and knees and scrubbed the floor. That was where I met Pat's dad.
Oh, okay.
And he was the singer with the band. He was and I used to peek out of the folding doors between.
Yeah.
And he was a drunken musician.
He was a drunken musician.
He played guitar.
Well, you were young.
I was so young. I was smitten. I didn't know any better.
Well, when did you... So you kept working there until you got married?
Yeah. And then the band moved to Helena.
Helena, okay.
And Catherine, we had a 2-bedroom apartment. And Catherine lived with us. And he spent the day at the bar. Catherine and I would go shopping. If I didn't have Catherine, I wouldn't have had anybody.
Geneva's son Patrick was born in August 1941, but soon her husband's alcoholism started to take its toll. She got divorced, and she and Patrick moved to start a new life in Portland, Oregon.
We finally got to Portland, Oregon, Pat and I. And first I went to work down in a cafe downtown as a waitress. Okay, and then some people talked me into going out to the shipyards because they paid 95 cents an hour and the waitress only made 35 cents an hour. And then I heard that I was making 95 cents an hour. And then I heard that the welders made $1 forward.
So I signed up to take welding lessons.
Welding classes?
So they put you in a little deal like
a
telephone.
cubicle? Oh, like a telephone booth, kind of.
Yeah.
You know, just coming home. And I was claustrophobic, so I had to go back to the 95 cents an hour. Anyway, I finally decided I'd go back to Billings again because I couldn't find a decent place to live. I couldn't find decent people to take care of Pat. We didn't have any money. But anyway, we did go back to Billings, Montana. And there was a lady downstairs that took care of Pat in the daytime. Because I was working out at the nightclub and I worked nights. And this was during the war. And this was, a nightclub where you serve both drinks and food. Okay, so first I worked in the kitchen. And then one of the waitresses quit. She was a teacher. She was going back to teaching school. And so I asked this gal, I said, if I could take her place. And she said, well, I'll give you a month's trial. And if you can make it, then I'll put you on the payroll. So the first month, I didn't make any wages. I just relied on my tips. After the first month, she put me on the payroll. It's 35 cents an hour. But gasoline was rationed, so she had to come and get all of us workers take us to work. And when we got through, there was usually somebody around to give us a ride home. And you couldn't buy nylon stockings. They had black market. So somebody come around and try to sell you a pair of work and stuff.
Other things were rationed during the war, too. The girls that worked at the Billings Club had to give their beef and alcohol ration tickets, selling them to the owner so that she had something to sell at her restaurant and nightclub. After working there for several years, Geneva decided to move back to North Dakota. Her sister offered her a place to stay in Minot, North Dakota, while she attended business college.
I went to business college and Pat went to school. After I got through with business college, then I got a job at the police department. And then I met Vic Linnington. And a couple of years later, we had our bonus. And that's Vicki Ann. I was able to raise my little girl and I didn't have to go to work. It's been good ever since.
After they got married, Vic and Geneva Linnington were also very active in politics.
He was, also active in politics. He was the head of the Minot area Republicans. Anyway, we got a chance to go to the National Convention in Kansas City. That was way before this was when Vicki was in high school. Oh, that was so much fun. Well, we met Dole. He was running for vice president. We met Ford and we met his wife, and I had my picture taken with her, And we met Nancy Reagan, and Reagan came to Minot one time.
Geneva and Vic enjoyed living the rest of their married life in Minot, North Dakota. Both Pat and Vicki graduated from Minot High School. Geneva continued to live in Minot after Vic's death in 1987 until she moved to Iowa to be closer to her daughter Vicki in 2009. Today, Geneva lives in Eldridge, Iowa, and enjoys spending time with her family.